Hello, friends. This is our spot and stock footage from our recent trip to Africa in 2022. I wanted to share with you a little bit about what we went through trying to get on these animals on the ground, way harder than it sounds like it would be. Um, this is Doug's third trip to Africa, my first trip, obviously, and he hasn't gotten a shot on a black wildebeest yet. Let's see how close we can get to it. Okay.
Yeah, we had some like once a little would be last week.
So before we went, I spent a lot of time trying to do my part to prepare, which is like what clothes should I bring, what kind of workouts should I do, whatever, to try to keep up. Doug wears these fancy hunting pants, and we have the same length inseam, whatever. He is taller than me, but we have the same length inseam. So I was just gonna wear his pants. Well, these fancy pants he has have like knee pads in them, and I'm like, but I won't need the knee pads because I'm not going to be crawling around on the ground because I'm going to stay at a distance. Well, even though he had done a great job preparing me of how dangerous it is to hunt out here because there's lots of things out here that will kill you, um, I became a lot more aware once we get out there and start seeing the animals. You start hearing the stories from Harry about previous experiences. So that's me and my knee pads, wearing the knee pads and working really hard to stay completely up with them. The footage is just me on my cell phone trying to record, and I was like, okay, I couldn't decide which direction to point the phone in or whatever, but it's still pretty good, cool footage, I think. Absolutely have to say though, of course, if you are good friends with me and you know this already about me, but thank goodness for DDPY yoga, because me 5 years ago would have absolutely not been able to keep up with these guys. I was alternating between crawling on my knees and up, like squatting, and like crab crawling on my squat position. I was just carrying my phone and Doug's bow case, but it proved to be a lot more challenging for me than I really expected. And you can see the sun in the background. I think that's a cool shot because it captures, the whole experience. I wish I could show you that the temperature was going up into the 90s, low 90s while we were there. So that was also fun and hot. Okay, so listen closely. You're getting ready to hear the first time I heard the animal we were trying to get on, which was the black wildebeest. All right, here it comes. This is the reason I love to go hunting with my husband. That moment that I captured and put to the right of the screen. That's him so happy. He is getting close to an animal that he's wanted to get a shot on for many, many years. He works so hard to prepare for these hunts. I love watching him work so hard, enjoying working hard, and then to see when it all comes together. Now I'm pretty sure that right here he's doing kind of like the T-baller in the outfield, pulling on grass. I don't think it was a purposeful movement. So, in case you also don't know how this works, spotting and stocking is you make noise at all, you freeze frame. If the animal seems to be thinking they might have heard something, you freeze frame. So that's why there's a lot of that in this footage, which I've cut a lot out because we were out here for hours. But the bugs that you hear, that's also very real. Getting ready to hear some excitement from me because we're seeing the animal. Like, barely can see this black wildebeest. And I screenshot it, put it up on the right of the screen so you can see that's it. You heard it? Did you hear it? That was it. That's what we're trying to get on right there.
Go.
Okay. I want you to see that, well, I can't run. I don't run. I can't run. I shouldn't run. It's bad when I run. This is not dramatic. This is literally me in New Zealand with Doug 5 years ago.
Run fast.
So listen, did you hear that? He said termite mound. I've already established I'm a chicken, so I share this clip, even though it's kind of loud, because he said termite mound, and I panic. That's my camera with me as I panic, trying to get away from a termite pile that is taller than me. Okay, so this was the end of the black wildebeest spot and stock for this day. And then just before we got back to camp, we got back to the truck, we got back to camp. Before we went to camp, we end up coming across seeing that glimpse right there of an animal that Doug's never seen before called a lechwe, which is something we again tried to look for the rest of the hunt and never got a shot on. This is my final section I'm going to include on this video, which is the spot and stock footage. This is from when Doug was out with Harry, Nell, and Johan. And Doug says that there's nothing in the world like doing a spot and stock with Harry. So you can see a little bit of what that's like. I wish we had a little bit more footage, but I was not with them, and Doug is not nearly as loyal to the camera as I am. If you've watched all this video, thank you for watching it. I don't know if I expect that anybody besides Doug and I will watch all of this. Maybe our moms. Maybe our moms. If they do, they should at least send me a text to tell me they made it through the whole thing. It's a lot of fun. I appreciate you watching. I'm just want to share all this happiness that we got to have and create a record for us to have in the future to always remember this trip because it's a once in a lifetime kind of experience.